I want to speak to all U.S. federal employees, military members, and contractors who use a government-issued PC. If you are not a U.S. federal employee or a military member or a contractor who uses a government-issued PC, then you can tune me out right now because I have absolutely nothing to say to you. Okay, I think we're alone now. I try to catch White House flunky Howard Schmidt whenever he appears on CNN or C-SPAN. Oh, sure, he utters silly statements from time to time, but he strikes me as a breath of fresh air compared to the negligent man he used to call boss. I'm an unabashed fan of Schmidt's, and I ain't afraid to admit it. Call me crazy, but I like the guy. For example, Schmidt points out the threat of our blind trust in software firms in a city where trust creates an obstacle to success. He cites examples like the P-Tech software Al-Qaeda terrorism investigation and the JECC software Shinriko terrorism investigation. The White House now runs commercials linking drug sales to terrorism. Schmidt works for the White House, and he wants you to know software sales may fund terrorism too. Indeed, Schmidt could make a very strong case against antivirus companies. And I would agree with him. Let me explain. The computer security industrial complex, let's call it what it is, sells its products to the world, and their global business plan runs counter to U.S. national security. I don't make this claim lightly. Antivirus firms in particular follow no security theology. They release dangerous data and code to anybody they choose for any arbitrary reason. For example, major U.S. antivirus firms such as Symantec and Network Associates admit they gave cyber smallpox technology to Beijing for years while they deprived Washington of it. And they'll go right on ignoring security with impunity. A global antivirus cartel, let's call it what it is, grabbed us by the short and curlies a long time ago, and they've never loosened their grip. For example, Washington ironically pays those very same U.S. firms, Symantec and Network Associates, to defend Beltway PCs from the threat of Beijing's computer viruses. What's wrong with this picture? Schmidt's interviews and speeches point out the threat of our own blind trust in antivirus firms. Now, I'll admit he says software firms, but this of course includes the antivirus industry. If you raised your right hand to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign or domestic, then you must open your eyes to this problem. You must open your eyes to the security industry's non-existent security theology. To put it simply, you need to treat your government PC like you treat a GSA safe or a Stu 3. Page 2. Now, I don't mean how you treat the documents in the safe or the things you say during a call. I mean how you treat the safe or the phone itself. You can identify everyone who knows the combination to your GSA safe or who holds a key to your Stu 3, but you don't know any of the antivirus employees over the years who at one time or another enjoyed full access to your for official use only PC. Some antivirus programmers carry passports from countries we don't like to associate with. One prominent U.S. virus expert will never hold a security clearance because of his ties to the Chinese National Police. Experts in the antivirus cartel believe a prominent Russian member in their group has strong ties to the former KGB. The cartel as a whole believes one Israeli antivirus firm bears strong ties to Mossad. Our enemies earn far more respect from the antivirus industry than we do. We know it for a fact, and I don't make this claim lightly. Antivirus firms don't want our friendship. They just want our money. You'll never let these people touch a GSA safe or a Stu 3, but you'll blindly let their software protect your Nippernet and Sippernet computers. In fact, your agency will blindly throw money at them every time their software fails to protect your PC from a virus. What's wrong with this picture? Now, Don't confuse access with break-ins. Spies can access a GSA safe or a Stu-3 just by breaking a window. And know this, the antivirus industry evolved as a global cartel by no later than September 1999. We document that very heavily at vMyths. We are the only computer security website on the planet that documents that. No other website on earth in the computer security world will document what we document. Come out to myths.com if you really want to open your eyes. Come out and see what the CIA and the NSA probably already know. If you raised your right hand to defend the U.S., then your security theology should include your government PC. If you watch Schmidt on CNN or C-SPAN, then you know he feels the same way I do. He wants America to overcome its blind trust in software firms. Software firms includes antivirus firms. Page 3. But Rob, you protest, how can I, an individual, overcome the government's blind trust in antivirus firms? I don't control federal negotiations for their products, and I can't even stop a network administrator from forcing it down my PC's throat at every boot up. Believe it or not, you can help the government to overcome its blind addiction to antivirus firms that would rather deal with China than with us. You really can. First, though, you need to open your own eyes. Let me explain. You see that PC sitting on or under your desk? I kid you not, the Pentagon recently declared it a weapon system. You're using a weapon system. By definition, then, DoD's security theology should include the PC. But it doesn't. The Pentagon should not protect a weapon system with software written by people they'd never trust. Yet they do. Only in the antivirus industry, I repeat, only in the antivirus industry can you declare the entire planet as your customer base, sell a product that routinely fails to do what you advertise it can do, rely on an addictive update model as your prime revenue stream, rely on a global media fetish as your prime marketing stream, configure your software so it deletes the important log files it creates, hire uncleared foreign nationals to write software that protects top secret computers, expect applause when you release hundreds of security patches for your product each year, ignore the blatant security flaws in your own product while exploiting the blatant security flaws in your competitors' products, engage in industrial espionage without fear of a government crackdown, and I do not make that claim lightly, violate copyright laws and commit plagiarism with the blessing of your corporate legal counsel, curb technological innovation through the use of bribery and or character assassination, refuse to alert your own customers to security threats discovered by your competitors, supply hostile enemies like China with the technology to destroy your own customers, and most important of all, make your customer addicts feel perfectly comfortable with everything I just told you. I don't make any of these claims lightly. The antivirus industry wants everyone to feel perfectly comfortable when they do anything they wish for any reason they choose, especially if it threatens the very people who buy antivirus software, like you, like the U.S. government. What's wrong with this picture? They want every CIA employee to feel perfectly comfortable using antivirus software written by people the CIA would never trust. They want every NSA employee to feel perfectly comfortable with it too. Same thing for every FBI employee. The antivirus industry wants every military contract negotiator to feel perfectly comfortable with it. They want every DoD cert official and every network administrator to feel perfectly comfortable with it. They want every user, like you, to feel perfectly comfortable with it too. In a word, everyone. Page 4. Amazing, eh? The U.S. government would deny a security clearance to some of these antivirus experts, yet the entire U.S. government blindly trusts them to protect every government PC in every office around the world, from a lieutenant's unclassified workstation to Condoleezza Rice's top-secret laptop. Indeed, the global antivirus cartel wants every government computer user in every government around the world to feel perfectly comfortable using antivirus software written by people those governments wouldn't trust. Schmidt wants to open your eyes to this fact. So do I. Okay? You've opened your own eyes to the security industry's non-existent security theology. How can you, an individual, overcome the government's blind trust in antivirus firms? Simple. You just need to include your government PC in your security theology. No, but Rob, I don't really worry about my GSA safe or my Stu 3. Exactly my point. If you include your government PC in your security theology, then someday you'll seldom worry about its safety. If the Pentagon included the government PC in its security theology, then someday they would seldom worry about its safety. The process begins simply enough. You start bugging your information assurance officer with a philosophical question. Why do you blindly trust antivirus software written by people who admit they supply virus technology to the Chinese National Police? Your information assurance officer will probably cough up a clueless answer. I suppose DoD Cert knows something we don't. Do they, you respond? Or are they blindly addicted to antivirus software written by people who admit they serve the People's Republic of China? Your information assurance officer may come back with a defensive retort. We can't just stop using antivirus software, you know. It's not practical. To which you respond, I'm not saying we should give up antivirus software. I just want to know why you rely 100% on antivirus software written by people who admit they give cyber smallpox technology to an oppressive communist regime. Then you deliver the whopper. Look, I know you're under orders to violate my PC's security, but the fact remains your actions compromise the security of my PC. Your IA officer will say something like, well then why don't you write an antivirus product for us, huh? To which you shrug your shoulders and say, I'm not the information assurance officer. Page 5. Come on, Rob. You said it would begin simply. Okay. Go out to vmyths, that's vmyths.com, and print out a copy of this column. Leave it on your information assurance officer's desk. It's really all you got to do. If you don't know your IA officer, then just leave the printed copy on your work group manager's desk. If you see a pile of copies on his or her desk, smile inwardly and put your copy on top. Do it anonymously if you wish, but do it. Want to do a little bit more? Print out a second copy of this column and put it in your office read file. Let it open your coworker's eyes. That's it? Yep, that's it. Change occurs in a natural fashion when enough people open their eyes to a problem. This problem doesn't have to change overnight. It just has to change. An individual like yourself can help change the habits of a blind U.S. bureaucracy. Okay. You've opened your own eyes to the security industry's non-existent security theology. At this point, a philosophical question rises to your lips. Does the need to secure a PC equal the need to secure a GSA safe or a Stu 3? No, of course not. It doesn't even come close. You could end up in Leavenworth if you give an enemy full access to a GSA safe or a Stu 3. On the other hand, you might end up without a job if you don't give an enemy full access to your newly declared weapon system. Ironic, but true. This irony may change someday thanks to your help, but not without a fight. Let me explain. The U.S. government made some important security inroads with Microsoft. Bill Gates will soon let Beltway officials analyze his source code. This is a genuine milestone in the world of commercial off-the-shelf software. But the computer security industrial complex will fight tooth and nail to stop the same thing from happening to them. Antivirus firms in particular will do everything they can to convince everyone to blindly trust their software. Everyone includes you. Everyone includes me, too. Sometimes, though, a person like me will try to rock the boat. Guess what? This column may upset the status quo for a multi-billion-dollar industry. Like I said, they'll fight tooth and nail to maintain the status quo. Page 6. If you ask an antivirus expert for comments on this column, and I hope you do ask, he might say, well, you know, Mr. Rosenberger has a strong way with words. I have the utmost respect for him, but... It always begins with a but. The expert will assure you, Mr. Rosenberger isn't privy to everything our company does for Washington. He isn't privy to some of the things our industry does for U.S. national security. Ironically, I'm privy to some of the things his industry does against U.S. national security. The expert will go on to say, we're not the traitors Mr. Rosenberger makes us out to be, and believe it or not, DoD CERT really does know what it's doing. Then the expert will persuade you with all sorts of patriotic reasons why you should remain blindly addicted to antivirus software written by people who admit they supply virus technology to the Chinese National Police. You'll only get one shot at a question, so you need to make it count. Do you and each of the programmers on your team hold a U.S. security clearance? One word, yes or no. Granted, his firm's antivirus software may protect every classified PC in the U.S. government, but anything less than a yes means the most important people in his company can't touch your GSA safe or your Stu 3. Anything less than a yes means he isn't privy to all of the wonderful things his firm supposedly does for Washington. Anything less than a yes means he isn't privy to some of the wonderful things his industry supposedly does for U.S. national security. The expert may pout and say, well, that's not really a fair question. Not fair to him, he means. Anything less than a yes means you called his bluff. The expert may concede the facts, but claim Mr. Rosenberger is overhyping a threat that doesn't exist. Our firm is in the business to save PCs from viruses. Actually, his firm is in the business to make money and expand their markets. China will only let antivirus firms expand into their territory if they regularly turn over virus technology to the national police. The expert will tell you anyone can download viruses from the web. He'll remind you of the fact government PCs get infected and send out viruses. He may say vMyths desperately needs media attention to stay afloat. He may claim I just want to get on Schmidt's good side so I can sit on a Beltway advisory panel. He may speculate I hold a grudge against one of his competitors and I naively take it out on the entire industry. He may hint that I want to write antivirus software for the feds. The expert will say whatever it takes to keep you blindly addicted to and perfectly comfortable with antivirus software written by people who admit they gave virus technology to Beijing for years while they deprived Washington of it. The expert will claim the U.S. government can't write its own antivirus software. He'll champion a global antivirus cartel as the lesser of two evils. He'll insist... you get the point. Page 7. I'll say it again, folks. The antivirus industry wants everyone to feel perfectly comfortable when they do anything they wish, for any reason they choose, especially if it threatens the very people who buy antivirus software. I don't make this claim lightly. If you raised your right hand to defend the country, then you must treat your government PC like a GSA safe or a Stu 3. You need to include it in your security theology. You must open your eyes to the security industry's non-existent security theology. Remember, go out to vMyths and hit the print button when you find this column. One copy for your information assurance officer, plus a copy for your office read file. Do it anonymously if you wish, but do it. I'm Rob... Oh, look down. Somebody's got you by the short and curlies. He's from the antivirus industry, and he's here to help. You were so blind until today, weren't you? I'm Rob Rosenberger for vMyths. That's VMYTHS.com. Truth about computer virus hysteria. Be there or be scared.